I guess what I'm saying is like, in terms of, uh, you know, I think what's missing is like this multiplicity, you know, that this interconnectedness that a lot of people just aren't seeing. You know, if I go up to you and I say, I state my problem, and you, or I state my issues and I vent to you, right? And you try to empathize, right? And you say, oh man, I know how you feel. And then I tell you, no, you don't know how I feel because you're not experiencing what I'm experiencing. I feel like that completely takes away um, the ability to try to connect with someone, you know? And a lot of times when I do this, I can't really tell if I'm making it about myself because that's not really my goal, you know? But people say that, well, that's what it sounds like. And that is not even what I'm trying to do at all. Now, I'll admit, I do have a bit of an ego, right? Like, you know, who doesn't? But I'm pretty aware, right? Like, I know, like, what I say, the things that I say, it has intention behind it. It has a purpose. You know, I do that because I know that, you know, when a person is talking to you or venting to you about a problem, then, you know, the at least the logical way to respond would be to possibly tell them about a similar problem that you were having, just so they wouldn't feel alone within their own unique issue, right? Because everybody feels like they have their own unique issue, right? And the thing about it is, you know, even though your experience is unique, the feelings that you have with that experience, they aren't too unique, you know? It's really just about, to connect with a person, you have to match up their the feelings that come with it, right? So um, let's say this, right? We could talk about, this is in racism and gender equality. um, I can't think of the terms. So for example, I as a black man, you know, I have these unique issues when it comes to how dark I am in my skin tone, right? I get insults that uniquely pertain to me because of my skin color. But when it comes to, let's say, um, you know, if it comes to a woman though, I wouldn't be able to relate to her issues because that is unique to her as a woman, right? But due to us both being at a point to where we're both kind of like demonized by society and told what we should and shouldn't do because, you know, our skin tone, my skin tone and her gender, we can both relate to each other in the sense that, um, you know, we both get talked down upon by society. And then that's where we can come together and have a conversation about each other's experience. You know, this, like, your experience is this, my experience is that. We don't have the same experience, but we feel the same thing from these experiences. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what's missing. You know, it's just simple conversation about each other's experiences and learning to try to empathize with each other's feelings. People love to vent about their emotions and talk about, you know, their experience and what they've been going through. Um, and that's it. That's it. You know, it's nothing beyond that. You know, it's not like you're not trying to really connect, but you just want to get it off your chest, which is completely understandable. I do the same thing a lot of the time, you know, like, I'll admit it. But I think maybe it's great to come to a point where you should let the other person state their experience, even though it's not exactly like yours. The feelings in which that they're feeling with you, it's the same. You know what I'm saying? You know, and a lot of the times, really, it does depend on the experience. It's once again, it's about the intensity of the emotions, right? If I say, like, if I'm talking about a societal issue and how I'm demonized about, you know, by society for my skin tone, then and another person comes in and talks about how they were demonized by their mom because because they decided to make one decision. Their mom didn't like it, so their mom demonized them. I may not feel like they're feeling the same things that I'm feeling, or at least at the intensity that I'm feeling, because I don't view it as like as serious as my problem. But that also doesn't mean that you know the feelings that they feel aren't at the same intensity. You know what I'm saying? That's the whole thing I'm trying to get at. It's like it's about the feeling, not necessarily the experience. But we can definitely talk about the experience, because I would love to know, I would love to be interested in what it is that you have, experienced just as a human being, right? Like your unique way of like how life has went for you, what caused you to come to these feelings that I'm feeling, and I'll talk about what caused me to come to these feelings, you know, that that I'm feeling, and because we're both feeling the same thing, so we can talk about it. And I think that's just like the real way to like, it's just a good way to connect to people, right? Like, the interconnectedness is missing, I think, these days. A lot of people like to talk about themselves, but nobody really likes to, they don't really want to communicate with other people in the sense of like trying to connect with them. It's just more of a, let me vent to you real quick. Can I vent to you if you vent to me? Uh, and I'm not saying like you always have to, I'm not saying you always have to relate to somebody. You don't always gotta relate to people. I don't know what you experience, right? Like I've never experienced that before. But the feelings though, when the feelings are there, it makes that connection even more stronger. Just that simple conversation. I don't know. That's just what I think. I think there's just that interconnectedness is missing. I think if we just simply started thinking about like the multiplicities and all the overall oneness that truly really is there, even though we may not feel it, there is something there, right? I mean, I don't know. Maybe if society as a whole just started talking about like their experiences and their feelings with each other, all of that would just kind of combine, and then it just wouldn't be like so much of an issue, right? It's like nowadays, it's more like, oh, everybody feels that way, you know. That's what people say, but they don't act like it, and that's what's really confusing me, because I could say how I'm feeling, or somebody else could say how they feel, and it's like, yeah, everybody goes through it, but it's just like you're not acknowledging it, you're disregarding it, you're pushing me away. You don't really want to talk about it because you feel that way too, but for some reason you don't want to talk about it, right? Maybe it's because you feel like you're trapped and there's really nothing you can do about it. Maybe you've lost hope. I mean, I don't know why people do that. Oh, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I feel that way too. Okay. Like, you think you're unique, you're not. But it's like, why do we treat it like that? Like, we could very well, like, just talk about these things and, like, I don't know, come to some conclusion. Even if we can't solve the problem right off rip, talking about it is, like, the best start, right? And, I just feel like maybe that's what's missing. Like, I don't know, just like a common relation. Like, two different experiences, but the same type of feelings at the same intensity, And even if it's not at the same intensity, I could very well, like, you could tell me about a time in your life where you really did go through something intense, and I could be like, that's where the intensity is, right? And even if you can't find it, I could still say, okay, well, you don't really understand, like, the intensity of the emotions, but you do know that, like, the emotions, though. You know what I'm saying? And I could just say, yeah, no, it's just a lot more intense on my side, right? Like, you're mad about this, I'm infuriated about this, yeah, that was just a thought I had. I guess, like, I think my anger comes from, like, just the fact that the people just don't, like, go that far in it. They don't go that deep in it. They They just stop. They just stop at a certain point. They get scared. So yeah, I don't know. It's just a thought. Right? It's just a thought.